Hi guys, this is Mrs. Lehman. Thank you for watching this video. So a few things that are going to happen today is we are going to work outside of the module, and you're going to be watching this YouTube video and doing the worksheets that the substitute has passed out to you. So that includes 4 pages, the first one being page 147, the second page 148, and then I plan on going over those first 2 pages with you, and then the last 2 pages, pages 149 and 150, will be something that you will complete with whatever time you have left at the end of class, or finish for homework if you don't complete it, okay? So the expectations while I'm out, obviously, please be respectful and helpful. You guys have been great about that. Please stay on this video. No web surfing, like don't click in other tabs and do all kinds of other things. Please do not listen to music while you're working. You are to stay on this video essentially exclusively, okay? Use your earbuds and headphones, and make sure at the end of class, please return your laptop to the correct place with the ports facing outward. If you're in 6th period, please plug them in when you return the laptops. Otherwise, if you're in periods 1, 2, 3, or 4, just put them back in the laptop. All right, or in the laptop cart, I should say. So, all right, guys, let's see how this goes. We'll go to the first thing we're going to learn. So, box plots is what the lesson is today and how to make them. It's based on a 5-number summary. So, when we have a data set, we try to summarize that using these 5 key things, all right? So the minimum value obviously means the lowest data value we collected, okay? Q1 is short for quartile 1. When we figure out quartiles, we're dividing our data set into 25% sections, okay? So you can see the root word quart there, as in like quarter. It's when you divide something by 4, okay? It means 4 of something. We have median, which is our middle value, quartile 3, and the maximum, or our biggest value that we got, okay? So I'm going to give an example, and I would like you just kind of to watch right now, and then on the next, in the next few minutes, I'll have you work on the worksheets, okay? So, or you could write this down if you want to, maybe on the back of page 147. You could write this down, and then you could have some practice. But okay, so let's pretend we have this data set, and I asked people in one class how many pets they had. So this is going to be for class 1, we'll say. All right, and these kids, I already put this data in order for you. They said that they had the following number of pets. All right, so we have our data set. First thing I'm going to look at is how many pieces of data I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces of data. All right, so that's an odd data set. And what we're going to do, if we have 11 pieces of data, if we want to find our median, you take 11, add 1, then divide it by 2. So 12 divided by 2 equals 6. So that means if we count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots, that's going to be your median. That's the position of the median value. It's in our 6th spot. Okay? So our median is 2. So you can write down median 2. All right? Now we're going to look for our first quartile. Our first quartile is when we look at the lower half of our data, right here, 0 through 1. We're going to see what is the median of this, okay? Now, if you look at this, you can easily see that 0 right here is Q1. Okay, so Q1 is 0. Q3, we're going to look at now at our upper half of the data, and we're going to immediately be able to notice that Q3 is 3. So the minimum value simply means what is our lowest value, which is 0, and our maximum number of pets that anyone reported was 5. So we have our 5-number summary. We're going to use this to make a box plot, all right? So you don't necessarily need to do this part of it, but a box plot consists of a consistently numbered number line. So we need to make sure we go 0 through 5. If you're dealing with big values, much larger numbers, you might want to use a different interval to count by, but for us, these are all under 10, pretty easy to do. All right, so what you do is you use your 5-number summary to essentially create something that's going to look like some weird alien spaceship hovercraft thing. All right, so this box plot's going to be above our line. It's going to have some very exact things that we need to label. So the minimum value is where we would put a dot, and then quartile 1 is 0 as well, which is interesting in this case. So usually, like, let's pretend the quartile 1 was 1, you draw a line here, but what happens when they're on the same value? You end up just, there's no whisker to the box and whisker plot. So a lot of times these used to be called box and whisker plots because of the lines that go from the minimum to quartile 1 or from quartile 3 to the maximum. But in this case, that overlaps. So at your first quartile, you're going to start the box, and it's going to go to the median. So the median gets a vertical line, and then quartile 3 is where you end the box, okay? Right, so then maximum value is 5. You put it out there, and that's the whisker of this, all right? So that is what the box plot would look like for this data set. And we know that each section of this represents 25%. So 25% of the people answered between 3 and 5, you know, 25% answered between 2 and 3, and you know, 25% of our group answered 0. All right, so this is just a visual way of summarizing our data. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to add a page here, and we're going to do the same thing for a separate class, okay? So let me do that. All right, so our next data set, let's say I asked class 2 for the same information. So class 2 said the following: 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, 4, 5. All right, so this was a smaller class. In this class, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. All right, so our 5-number summary involves our minimum, our Q1, oops, I'm going to write median next, Q3, and our maximum. So again, this is a 5-number summary. So our minimum value is 0, our maximum value is 5. All right, so let's find the median. So you can work your way into the middle here, and you're going to see that the median would fall right here, okay? When we have an 8-point data set, 8 plus 1 is 9, 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5 would put you between the 1 and the 2. All right, so anyway, what's between 1 and 2? Well, 1.5. The technical way of getting that is add these two numbers and then divide by 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So our median is 1.5. Let me clear that circle I made off. Oops. Let me rewrite median because I just erased it. All right, so 1.5. So this is now where the split is between our lower 50% and our upper 50%. Our job is to now find the middle of this. So pretty much where is the 25% section cut, okay? So we have 4 data values, add 1, that's 5 data values divided by 2. So 2.5 over is where our line is for Q1. So 2 jumps in. It's between 0 and 1. Between 0 and 1 is 5/10. All right, so Q1 is 5/10. Q3, you got to do the same thing. So we're looking at 2, 4, 4, and 5. You're counting into the middle, and that is, if it's between two of the same numbers, that would be just whatever that number is. So in this case, 4. All right, so the box plot for this, again, we only need to go from 0 to 5. Our minimum value is 0. Our quartile 1 is right here. Our median is right here. So this is a line from our minimum value to Q1. Right? This is where our box starts at Q1. We go up to our median, draw a vertical line there, and then we're going to go to Q4. That's all part of our box. And then our maximum value goes to 5. Now you can look at this class 2 data, and this is a really quick summary of this box plot. You know, you can see that this, the higher 50% of the data, the part that I'm kind of drawing a red box around, that, oops, should go further. This section right here is much more spread out than this section right here. All right, you can see that it's clearly more spread out. So the question that we answered on Friday is, what is the IQR? So the IQR means you take your Q1 and your Q3 and you find the difference between them. So Q3 is 4 minus 5/10, and you would get 3.5. So that's saying that this section, this middle box, which you want to color in, is 3.5 is an IQR. Let me go back to the last page. Oh, there's that annoying thing. Hold on a sec. Okay, so you can see that that's definitely different than the first class. Okay, you can see that there were a lot of people who had 0 pets, and so many had 0 pets that our minimum value in our quartile 1 actually ended up being the same. All right, so let's get into the worksheets that you had. So we're on page 147, so we need to get these notes done. It says answer each question, use the data to complete the box plot. So again, I told you they were called box and whisker plots. You can see on page 147 that the whisker, let me write page 147 up here. The whisker is going from the minimum value to Q1, then you've got the box, and then the upper whisker. Now they didn't put the median in there, so we'll look at that here in a second. All right, so it says what is the least value of the data? So you're looking for your lowest number. Our lowest number is 91. Label it as point A on the box plot. So they just want us to make sure we label these. Now, do you normally put A, B, C, D, etc. on there? No. I think that's just their way of like making sure you pinpoint it. All right, what was the greatest value? This is what we call the max value. The maximum up here for question 1, that's the minimum value. So our highest number was right here. I'm kind of coloring it over with a blue dot. All right, they're using a scale of 1, so that would be 128. Label it as point B. Okay, pretty easy so far. Baby steps. All right, the next part says what is the median of the data? Circle the median, then show it on the box plot. Think. Divide the box with a line to show where the median is. All right, we're looking for the middle value. All right, so again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 values. Add 1 to that. You have 12. Divided by 2 is 6. So that would be our 6th value over. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 105. We should have the same number above and below the median. We have 5 below and we have 5 above. So we found that correctly. So our median is 105. Okay, what is the median? 105. Show it on the box plot. Okay, so how do you show the median? Well, wherever it is, you draw a vertical line. So 105 right up above that, you're going to draw a vertical line in that box, okay? All right, let's move on to the next question. Circle the 5 scores below the median on the data set. What is the median of those 5 scores? This is called the lower quartile. Label it Q1. So we're going to find the quartile 1. I don't think you need to circle those numbers. We're just going to essentially look from here to here, okay? So we want to find the middle value. So the middle value here is 98. All right, so quartile 1 is 98. This label it Q1 on the box plot. So go to your box plot, and this is Q1. All right. There's an example of a box plot right on the front of your module cover. You can check that out later. And those are labeled with Q1 minimum, Q1 median, Q3, and maximum. All right. So the next one, circle the 5 scores above. We're not circling them, but what is the median of those 5 scores? This is called the upper quartile. Label is Q3 on the box plot. So we're going to look back at our data set. We're going to now, I'm going to write this in red. We're going to look from 109 to 128. We want to find the middle value, which is 117. So if you go down here, we know the upper quartile is 117. They want us to label it. So on your box plot, label this Q3. Okay. I don't know if they wanted us to label this median, but I don't care. I want you to. So median is right there. Where it says A, we'll have to actually erase it and put minimum. I mean, why not? So MIN is short for minimum. And up here at 128, we'll write max for maximum. All right? So that's what this should look like when you're done. All right? That's a completed box plot. It says, what is the interquartile range? So write this down on your paper. To find the interquartile range, the IQR, you have to take quartile 3 and subtract quartile 1. So in this case, quartile 3, we said was 117. Right, and I got that from question 5. 117 was our quartile 3. And quartile 1 was 98. So 117 minus 98 is a difference of 19. So the IQR is 19. That's just a matter of subtracting. And then down here it says circle the whiskers on the box plot. No, we're not doing that. All right, so okay, so what's the purpose of this? Well, the box plot is a nice visual representation of our data. Now again, we only really have that 5-number summary on there, but the benefit of this is that it tells you where most of your data is and where it begins to get spread out. So you'll notice when you look at this that the left hand, going from the median to the left, median to the minimum, that's more grouped together than the median to the max. That section to the right is much more spread out. So you could tell based on this box plot that this is a skewed right data set. It definitely has more data hanging out on the lower end of things than the higher ends. And you can see that just based on how stretched out those boxes are in the string, the whisker at the end, that it is more varied. All right, so let's go on to the next page and hopefully we can get this done quickly. All right, it says use the data to complete the box plot, then answer each question. So they started by drawing a box. That was lovely of them. All right, so we're on page 148 right now. Make sure you're on that page. Okay, and it says daily miles traveled to and from work. Put the data in order from least value to greatest value. So you're looking for your smallest number. Our smallest number in this list looks like it is 5. So make sure you put 5 first. Next, I would say, I'm looking it over, 18. then 25, 27, 35, 38, 40. Oh, I missed 20. Back it up, kids. All right, so, okay. So 5, 18, then 20, then 25, then 27, then 35, then 38, then 48. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, 40. I'm like, I already checked that off before. All right, 40 is next. And then 48, 60, and 90. All right, so they did little lines there for us to write on, so that made it helpful. We know we've accounted for everything, but usually you just have to count to make sure you have the same number of data for each. All right, it says mark the extreme values on the box plot. Draw the whiskers. So we're looking for our minimum value, which is 5. So go up to your box plot on the top of the page, and we're going to start where it's Q1 at 20. You've got to go down to 5. So again, this is hovering over the number line, and you'll notice those lines go midway. Okay, you're not connecting it at the bottom corner. It's midway through the side of that rectangle. All right, so that's easy enough. And then, what is the median of the data? Draw the median on the box plot. So we're going to count into the middle. So on your paper, this will be easy enough, or we could just count how many numbers we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus 1 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 should be 35. That leaves us with 5 on the left-hand side. So 5 values were less than 35. 5 values were above 35. So 35's our median. So you're going to go to 35 and draw a vertical line to split that box where the median is. Okay. Our next step is fill in number 3. What is the median? 35. What is a lower quartile? So we're going to split our data. We're going to look right here at this section. We're going to find the middle value, which is 20. That's what we call Q1. So up here, I'm guessing it's going to have us do something. Well, I guess we'll just fill in for 20. Okay. And then question 5 says, what is the upper quartile? So we're going to, again, look at these numbers above our median, find the middle of those numbers, which would be 48. So the upper quartile is 48. Half of the commuters traveled between blank and blank miles. So half of them, we're looking for 50%. Right? So 50% of the commuters is the section. Oh, we got to do our max too. I don't know, that's probably coming later. Ooh, that person's driving a long way, all the way to 90. All right, so it talked about the 50%. Let me read that question again. It says, half of the commuters traveled between blank and blank miles. So they traveled between 20, right here, you guys see that? And 48, it looks like. All right, so between 20 and 48, which is our Q1 and Q3. So between 20 and 48. What is the interquartile range? Well, if you take 48, subtract 20, the difference is 28. So the interquartile range is 28. We skipped question 6 by accident. What is the median distance traveled? So I believe we already did that. Yeah, we found it to be 35. That's the same question as 3. Don't know. All right, anyway, So that's how you make a box plot, okay? So quickly to recap, this first dot is your minimum value, your smallest number on your list. This over here on the far right is your maximum. This is your median. This is Q1, quartile 1. This is quartile 3. All right, so the rest of the time, I'm going to have you at this point, well, after this video ends, I'm going to have you put things away. So until that time, I want you to use the data set given on page 149 to, they're going to walk you through the 5-number summary, and you're going to make a box plot there. Right, when it says for question 7, down here at the bottom, half of the class scored between blank and blank, that's the interquartile range. This is asking for you to do the interquartile range. Okay? What is that middle 50% of the data doing? Okay? How far is that spread out? Okay. So you're going to work on page 149. You should be able to get that done before the end of class. And then page 150 will be your homework. Okay? So you can get done as much of that as you can before the end of class. Whatever you don't finish is homework. At this point, I would like you to log off of your laptop and return it to the laptop, or sign out, shut down, do all that good stuff, and then neatly, carefully return it to the laptop cart, okay, and get working on your homework. All right, thanks guys. I expect a great report. Have a great day. Bye.